All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Let me get the screen. I think the screen's not working well. Capture. All right, can you guys see my screen? Let me see if that's working. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. I think this is working. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. I think this is working. All right, so let's get it started. So in the last live stream, we were trying to set up the rifle overlay layers of the upper body of the character. And we're trying to set up the leg bug, the leg IK bug that we had. So as you can see, the character stands like this. It happens the same in the Polygons Hive GASP plus ALS project that he made. We also have that bug, but I think it's not a issue that we should worry about right now. I think we should focus more on building the functionality for the weapon pickup and the weapon holster system, and also the inventory system, which we're also going to need for picking up other types of weapons as well. So as you can see, if I just disable the IK in here, the IK is going to stop working, of course, but we're going to get a little bit of better results. As you can see, when you aim, the left leg is up and the right leg is down. So as soon as you stop aiming, it's going to play that animation. But it is a little bit better, as you can see right there, but we don't have that much control of the leg IK in the GASP as we have in the ALS project, because if you take a look at the ALS, we have this foot IK here, and what controls the foot IK is the layers itself. So we have this animation curve layers. They hold a data a number that is set depending on the animation frame. And as you can see right here, it tells the character pretty much what he should do, like when exactly he should fuck. He should lock his foot, like in here. So as you can see right here, this number starts at 0, as it is in the default code. And as you can see right here, it's pretty much slows down to -1, right? So right over here, the character just, when he steps up, somehow in the code, he puts his leg on the correct position. I don't really know how it works. I just know it works by this curve layers right here. We're gonna have to check it out how it really works. If I try it someday, if I try to get the same system to work in the GASP plus ALS in the GASP project, we can pretty much have the same result as we have right here. I believe so, or at least close to it. So right here I have the IK foot L. I'm not sure if you have that same bone name in the UFN character. Let me just, yeah, I think we do IK hand L and IK foot L, which is this bone right here. If you try to move that, let's see what happens. Nothing happens. I think they're just there for future use of IK. They're just reference points that you can use. Right now they seem to be disabled because, as you can see right here, the icon is pretty much different, and it's very much darker than usual. So I'm just going to connect it back to here, and we're not going to worry too much about that right now. I think this is an issue that we can correct in the future, so now we do have a turn animation when the character is standing. If you search for stand turn, you're going to be able to find a turn 0:35, and one of these transition animations I've used for correcting the foot, correcting the IK on the Crow. I think it's Crow locomotion system. As you can see, it's this one right here. I fixed the IK by basically playing this animation, a fraction of this animation, so that the IK could, so that the legs of the character could fix itself, right? Let's Go Together said, just make a gun system using your tutorial, but trouble to make it aim, because not using sandbox character help. Just make a gun system using your... you just made a gun system using my tutorial, but you had trouble to make the aim because you're not using the sandbox character. So if you're not using the sandbox character, I don't know what's missing in your code, but when you go to the... Let's say, for example, let's go to the weapon system. And if you go to the sandbox character, you're going to have the animation graph. And what makes the character to aim is a state machine. So we have the weapon state machine. And inside that weapon state machine, we have the aim pose. The third person character, the third person shooter template. So if you don't have this code right here, or if you have to calculate the spine rotation, and you need to get this code right here. And the only part that comes with in the default GASP plus ALS we have this function here, get AO value. And then this function is calculated. You have to have this variable as well. And then this variable is calculated from here. And then get console variable Boolean value. I don't know if you have that function available in there. And I don't know if this could be the node that you're missing in the third person shooter template. And I don't know, I don't really know if this node is available. Even if you get it and try to set the variable name in here, it's going to work. I'm not sure because I've never done that. But I think you're gonna have to do a different calculation for calculating how try to get somehow the values when the character aims up or down. I think you could use an example of how how the ALS is made. For the spine rotation. So if you try to search and find references, you're going to be able to see how this is calculated. I think this is the best way to make the calculation for the aim function. But it's very much complex, especially for a beginner. So yeah, it's tough. But I have another tutorial that teaches how to make a aim system from scratch, which is this one right here. Yeah, do not have the AO value. That sucks. But I do have a tutorial that teaches how to set up the aim value. As you can see, the character can aim. I'm not sure if I made it so that the character can aim to the left and right, but you can pretty much aim to the, yeah, you can aim to any side. So as you can see, it pretty much works well. So you can watch this tutorial. Probably at some part of the tutorial, at some part chapter, you're going to be able to learn how to make the simple aim system, so that you can aim up and down. And that tutorial I made like 2 years ago, or 1 year, I don't remember right, but it was a while ago. So back to the game. Just going to delete these variables because I don't want any confusion in here. Just going to go back to the animation graph. Just going to stop watching this value here. So back to it, I'm gonna try to play a neutral stand kind of pose to see if that's gonna make the result a little bit better. So I'm just going to create a animation montage out of this pose right here. Actually, I'm just going to do something different. I'm going to just let me see which one is better, the left or right. I think the left is a little bit better. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. And in here, I'm just going to make it a little bit different. I'm just going to name it to be 45 foot correction. I think that makes sense. And as this is the left one, I'm just going to name it as... Wait, what is it? Oh, okay. Showing folder. So as you can see, this is the 45 foot correction, and I'm just going to try to create an animation montage. And then in here, I can use a fraction of this animation to try to correct the foot of the character when the character picks up the rifle and starts aiming, and then go back to the ready mode. So as you can see, when he goes back, as you can see, the legs don't even move. I'm gonna try to see if I play this animation in here, it's going to solve that issue. So I'm just going to use a fraction, I'm just going to go to the animation sequence, and I'm not going to enable root motion because I don't want the character to move. I'm just going to use a fraction of this. So I'm just going to go back to the montage, and here I'm just going to select and limit the end time. Here's going to be 77. So .77 as for the end time. And that's pretty much done. Now I'm just going to create a debugging type of, to see if we just play the montage, we're going to be able to fix the IK. But we need to play, we need to have a different type of, we're gonna have to disable that one that does it automatically. So we're just going to go to the event graph and disable this. This which plays the, which tries to correct the foot. The animation that tries to correct the foot, as you can see right here, the character just does this, which is enough for the ALS, but not enough for the GASP system. As you can see, the character just does that to try to correct the foot. We're going to do it different to see if it works. So I'm just going to select that montage should play. The mesh is going to be plugged in there. And if you're going to press 8, we're going to correct the feet. So if it does correct the feet, then we're good. We have one more thing to be made. So if I press, okay, so it does this. So as you can see, the foot is a little bit weirder now. His legs is a little bit spread out. So I'm just going to press 8, and that's gonna fix it. I don't know why the character aims to the direction that I'm aiming. Oh, it's because yeah, if you press the middle mouse button, the character is going to have the ability to strafe. So you're going to set the strafe mode of the character. If you press the middle mouse button once again, you're going to leave the strafe mode so that your character can turn at any direction that you want him to turn, with the rotation rate working well, right? And if you press aim, you're going to be on the strafe mode. As soon as you right mouse click, you're going to be automatically on the strafe mode because you want to have control of the aim and of the character. The legs are moving a little bit weird, but we don't need to worry about that right now because we haven't set up the overlay layers completely, but we're going to work on that later after this one. But as soon as the character stops, as you can see, his legs is a little bit spread out. I don't know how to say this, spread it out, or is it spread out? Yeah, so as soon as you stop aiming, as you can see, his legs is still there. And then he goes to that pose, which is pretty weird. But if I press 8, it's going to fix it. So as soon as I press 8, yeah, it works. I mean, it's not bad. We just need to maybe set the play rate to be a little bit faster, I guess. But it does the job. Let's go together, Sid, and how to make multiple weapon system. Yeah, we're going to work on that later. I'm planning to make a if you want to make a multiple weapon system, you're gonna have to need a master class. The reason why I'm not doing a master class right now is because I want to have full control of. It's just because I'm prototyping right now. I don't really know what kind of weapons we're going to have. So maybe it's not really necessary right now, but we're going to try to make a multiple weapon system. And essentially what you need to have is you need to have a master class blueprint. So basically you're just going to create a blueprint, and this blueprint is going to be the master class. And there's not going to contain anything inside of it. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a child blueprint out of that class. So this is going to be called weapon master class, or just a weapon class. And then out of this blueprint, we're going to create a child. Right, we're going to create a child, and this child could be a pistol, for example. And the other child could be, you're going to create another child out of this parent. And this child could be a rifle or a bow, whatever. But I'm not sure yet if we could keep adding like pistol, rifle, bow, grenade, all those types of weapons. Maybe we should get this master class to be only weapons that can fire. I don't know, something like this. So this is the best way you can do things. Yeah. Safrag said hello, Safrag. How are you doing? All right. So the challenge now is to try to oh, that's too much fast. The challenge now is to play this animation as soon as the character goes from the ready to the relaxed pose. I think that's going to be pretty much easy to do. And the real challenge is to just play that animation for the legs of the character, not the upper body of the character, right? Of course, that's not going to look like amazing because this is not what this transition was going to be about. But, you know, sometimes I have to get... Oh, oops, I closed everything. Sometimes you need to get the animations that you have, as I don't have an animator to do it myself, to do it for me. So we're not going to do that right now. We're going to use the animations that we have and test it out to see if it works. If it works, great. Then you can hire an animator to do it for you. But so it's going to look a lot better because this is just a prototyping phase, and we have to accept the imperfections that it's going to come with. Yeah, so let's go ahead and test it out. Let me just go custom event, and I want this to be automatic. I want to play this animation montage as soon as the character goes from the ready to the relaxed state. So what I'm going to do here is just something really simple. We can do this better later. Maybe we could just replace the animation asset right over here. So if you try to get this fit correction in here and then just plug that in there and add it as a additive pose, let me just see which, and then make this as a base pose, we could try to get a pretty good result out of this. I'm just going to cut this animation a little bit. I'm just going to press on here, and I'm going to remove from frame 35 to frame 51. So I'm going to have a shorter animation to be played in here, which is what I want. I'm just going to search for that asset, and I'm going to go back to the animation blueprint. And here I'm going to make sure that we select the asset in there and just try to press on play to see what's going to happen. Probably we're going to have to make an animation additive out of this, but we're going to see. So let's wait. Yeah, it's a little bit worse, but it works. Safrag said, "Do you have a game? Do you have a game that you've made or not yet?" Not yet. I haven't made any game. Right now, I'm just working on getting the enough experience, enough to be able to make a fun game at least. Right now, I'm not planning to launch any or to make any game yet. I'm just experimenting with the features that UE5 makes it to be available for us. There's someone calling me. I don't know if I should answer. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. So, let's try to do this now. I don't know why the character does that for when he plays the animation as dynamic montage. Probably a issue. Sina Archeo Wolf said, "Hi, I have one question. How to learn blueprints? I see videos, but I don't understand." Yeah. You could take some videos from Udemy. There are some courses there, but I don't see any I haven't taken a course that talks about animations as I wanted. In the future, I'm planning to make a course so that everyone understands how things work. But pretty much is just watching YouTube videos and try to replicate and try to understand how things are done. And yeah, just testing stuff. That's pretty much the way I learned, and I think I could learn a lot faster with courses, but I chose to learn everything on my own. And that's pretty much like testing and figuring out things. Um, but it's good when you have a teacher like teaching you other things and asking like why it's not working. Of course, some things they need to. It's not all the time that someone knows what's going on in the code. You have to really see inside the code what's going on to see what's happening. So yeah, I'm not right now I'm just trying to create a course that teaches people how to do the core logic, like using the blueprints, not in the animation part yet. I'm just trying to see if the course that I'm doing is going to help people. If people are going to understand. For example, here, if you go to my videos, you have this members only. You have this members only type of video here. This was three weeks ago. I recorded one more video yesterday. And then here I teach specifically the nodes that we're going to be talking about. Oh, I just explained the nodes and how they work and how you can connect things into it, how you can use them at what situation. So yeah. SafeRag said, how long have you been using or learning Unreal? It's been three years, I guess. 3 years. I think the first video I made was 2022, more or less. This was my first video. I think it was July 2022. It was not like a long time ago, but still it's very old. Anyways, let's go back to back to work. Yeah, I got it. Okay, let's just go to the event graph and just set the play rate to be 1. I think 1.05. And let's see what the result, how it looks like. Because at least if we could get at least this result right here, even if the character holds his weapon, doesn't preserve the upper body pose, I think this is going to be a lot better other than having the character to have his legs spread out like that. As you can see right there, I think this is a lot smoother. I'm going to set the blend out time to be that 35. And in the... Yeah, I think I did a mistake by cutting the animation because I cannot cut it back again. But yeah, I think this is the montage, so we can set the end time to be 0.85, something like that, because the blend out time is a little bit longer. And we can set the curve to be sinusoidal in out and set it to be 0.35 here as well. But I don't know which one takes in place of these parameters in here, because we have also this parameters in here. So I'm not really sure which one it chooses when you're playing dynamic montages. So let's see if the character is going to... Yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah, I think this is a lot better. If I set the blend time to be something like that, 35 as well, I think it's going to look a lot nicer, a lot more smooth. No, it's not. That's not gonna make it smooth, because the animation is very short. It starts from the beginning here, right off. So I think the blending time to be good I think it should be 0.25. I think we get better blending results. Almost there. Oh yeah, I forgot this value in here. So we have the 0.3, which means that we're going to start on the frame, the frame 30 of this animation. So I'm just going to reset it out so that we can play this animation from start. And now I'm going to set the blend time in to be 0.3 so that we can have a better looking animation to play. So when you aim, stop aiming. Yeah, this is a lot better. I think we're going to set the blending time to be 0.4 in here, and the blend out time to be 0.4. I don't know if that makes the result that I want. Yeah, it's fine. It's almost there. Philographer said trying to debug various weapon states and pick up holster interaction. So you have been trying to do this, or for different weapon states, would we be calling... Oh, this is a question. For different weapon states, we would be calling the pickup weapon event those if branch statements during attach phase. Would we be calling pickup weapon event those if branch statements during attach phase? I'm confused. Are you asking if you want to, how you should handle the, where exactly you should handle the pickup events, the animations, or just saying. I'm just making a massive branch spaghetti, but it seems to be working well. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. On the prototype phase, things are very messy. Safrag said, how do you deal with the lack of motivation that's been hitting every time I start a new project, or if we've never experienced that? Yeah, several times. Sometimes I was making those YouTube tutorials and I think, oh, this is impossible to be done because I lack knowledge to do this and that, but essentially, eventually you get to make something to work and just explore the ways. Just believe in yourself that you can do it and just keep going. It doesn't matter if it takes like 3 months to just make the character to be able to pick up the weapon, and just call it progress, regardless of your experience level. Let me see if disabling the IK would do something different in here. Not much. Okay, let's try to play that with the root motion enabled. Let's just see if that's gonna make any difference. We're gonna have to disable the root motion for this one because it's not going to look good. All right. I think I have an idea here. I just get this in here, and as this is the base pulse, and the motion matching layer comes from here, which means the leg pulse is from there. I'm going to try to override the motion matching legs pulse to the current motion animation montage that's going to be played there. Yeah, kind of works. I like that. But his legs still is still spread out. Okay, correct. Almost there. Almost. Just going to set the end time to be a little bit more longer. I think that's gonna make the job. That's gonna make the character to finish the turn in place animation. Yeah. Let's put the start time to be let's put the start time to be 0 and the end time to be 1.2. All right. Safrag said, I'll be here when you make your first game. I'm sure it's going to be good. Could be good. All right, let's try something different here. Instead of getting the 45 going to the right, because in here, he firstly lifts up his left foot first, and then his right foot. So what about getting the 45 stand, 45 stand R? He does the opposite. So that could mean that we could have a different result. Let's see that. Because the foot position also matters. So you have to take that in mind. So this is the 45. Which is it? Is it the right or left? Right. So this is the 45 right foot correction. And let me just rename that real quick. So this is 45 left. 45 right foot correction. All right. Something I've done here is just to cut the animation so that it lasts a little bit shorter. I think I could make something like this. Cut it right here. Because once I cut it, like I think there is no way to get it back. Unless you do. I don't know a way to get it back to revert the changes. I don't know how to revert the changes after you cut the animation frame. So let me just do the right one, create animation montage. Let me just rename this as well to 45L. Okay, select the grounded slot. R. Pranay said, "Wow, animations in different transitions look smooth like a AAA game." Yeah, that's the target audience, target kind of quality you want. Now I just need to change and replace that animation. It's the event graph and change that in here. What? Yeah, for some reason it didn't play at all. That's weird. So blend time to be 0, blend out time to be 0. So that it doesn't have any blend when you're playing the montage. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the montage is being played at all. Because the correct assigned slot, because the slot is correctly assigned into here, but I don't know why it is not playing at all. It seems to be not playing at all. It's very strange. I'll just test it out to see if it's working. At least just playing the montage. So if I press 8, yeah, it does play that animation. But I think it's not necessary. It's not necessarily enough to correct the foot. Maybe if we disconnect the leg foot IK, it's going to play a little bit better. So let's try it out. Yeah, it seems like the pulse is not really playing at all. That's weird. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm missing a enable root motion. I have to disable the root motion. Maybe that's the cause of it. So let's plug it back. Oops. Back here. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's any better. Let me just change the blend in time. In this case, it's going to be 0.05. Okay, so go. Yeah, I think that's not any better. We're gonna have to just switch back to the other animation because the other animation looks to be working a lot better than this one. So I'm just going to keep that result from there and just be humble and choose the choose the result that works instead of just not having any result. What? It's not working as well. Yeah, we're gonna have to skip this part here because I'm gonna have to try to figure out this one on my own. I don't know why it stopped working, but I guess we can move on to the next implementations here that were left in the last live stream as well. Because otherwise we're going to spend a lot of time and it's going to be boring and nobody's going to learn anything. And the stream is just going to be like finding out things. So I'm just going to move out and move on with the functionalities that really matters, that's missing, and that know what should be done instead of just trying to figure out what's going on. So we're going to do, and we're going to go ahead and do the aiming poses. As you can see, I only have that one in here, and that is the reason why we have this such bug in here. So when you move, his legs is not looking so much great. So we're going to fix that right now. I'm going to just copy and paste all these blend poses right here because I'm sure we're going to use at least one of them. So I'm just going to separate this and make sure that we have the GASP plus ALS project here in place. And I'm just going to take a sneak peek on what it's like to have. So we have the stances for the aiming pose. For the aiming state, we have the stance, the blend poses by enumerator. And we also have the movement state. It's right over here. The gait right below it. And yeah, it doesn't change at all. The enumerator states, they don't change. You just need to pay attention to the default values in here. This is for the stand blending time is going to be 1. And for the crouch blend time is going to be 1 as well. So that's all you need to pay attention to in this case. And just make sure that when you click on the blend poses by enumerator, you have selected the right blend type, which in this case is the linear one. And go back to ready. I think the ready also has the same default values. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the ready state and change that. So the stand blend time is going to be 1, the crouch as well, and the other ones, they remain intact. The relaxed pose, I think it changes as well. Let me just see which one it is. Yeah, the same one. So the stand blending time and crouch blending time, all are set to be 1. So now we're going to select the right poses. Now here, as you can see, for the default pose, we select the pose stand idle aim, and it's exactly the one that we're searching for. And just connect the output animation pose in here so that it gets the pose in there. And let's check it out to see we have some different values in here. We have the apply mesh space additive. And here what I'm looking at is aim offset sweep. For some reason, using a variable that is set in the event graph causes jitter. I don't know. I haven't seen any jitter so far. But we're going to keep a look to see if something goes off. So this is going to be the aim offset sweep. We use... Okay, so in the top we use the stand, it connects to the stand pose, and the below one is the crouch one. So you should separate things a little bit in here. So this is for the crouch. So first we get the, okay, let's get the comment. This is the aim offset sweep for when the character is standing. And this is the one for crouching. So we're going to apply mesh space additive. And then here we get the state weight when the character is aiming. So state weight. Oh, we have tune here. I don't know. State aiming. No, I don't know which one to choose. Let me just select this. This is going to be the aiming for the rifle. We're just aiming rifle so that we can know which one it is, because we have other states that has the same state name, so that I have to be sure that we select the right one. So let's type again state weight, aiming rifle. So as you can see, it's aiming rifle. Aiming rifle, okay. Connect to the alpha. And this connects to the base. Now here we have a sequence evaluator. So we need to have that aim, sweep, pose with the rifle. So here I have the stand, and the crouch one is going to be selected as well. Great brother said, "Hi bro, are you seeing your comment? Our comment, yes." And this is going to be convert to single frame. And we're going to get the sandbox character, and then get the AO value. As this is the same animation graph, we don't need to get the sandbox character. We can just get it right away. So just get AO value, and then just split that, this is going to give you the result of how much aiming, it's going to give you the value when you aim on the vertical axis. So depending on if you're aiming up or down, it's going to give you the value for that purpose. And here, just going to map range clamped to just map the values and convert them to use for our animations, for our needs. Because otherwise, if you aim just a little bit up, the character is going to, maybe he's going to twist the bones, or the sensibility is going to be very high. So we need to map those values. And this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 0. And this one is the crouch one. So we're going to do the same thing in here. So just copy and paste that. Crouch. Yeah, I have the wrong one here. State. This is the stance. Not this. Yeah, wait. I think I've done something wrong here. So this is the stand. This is the stand one. This is the crouched one. This goes to. Wait. No, we don't have this one right here. Okay, movement state. Great Balder said, "Hey bro, let's make a project together." uh, crouch aim rifle. I don't have the move one. Crouch move rifle. Yeah, I think we don't have the moving one. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug all those in. But if you have a crouch animation for when the character is moving, you can also plug in here. No problem. Yeah. And this, what's missing now is, okay, we're going to do this part first. So this is the gait. We're gonna have to need the rifle aim. So I have the rifle stand aim idle. I'm going to plug that. Yeah. So this is the rifle stand aim move. So you're going to just connect those in there and duplicate them to multiply them by 4. Yeah, so I guess this should be working well. Yeah, right now I'm not right now I'm not looking for projects during project, just focusing on my own project. Alright, so this is the aim offset sweep to crouch. And I think after this we should be good to go. So if something doesn't look good, I think we can come back to see if something doesn't look good from the aiming state, we can come back to see what's going wrong in here. But I think this should be able to do the job for us. And this one is the stand poses. So stand poses, and this is the crouch poses. All right, I think we're good to go. So let's get the pistol first. The reason why I'm not able to get the rifle first is because we didn't set up that yet. So we kind of have to set up a quick inventory system only in the backend, because I don't know how to make a proper UI system. I guess this shouldn't be complicated to be done. A UI system that holds the inventory, a UI system that holds the inventory. I don't know. but I think this should be already enough. I think his legs are a little bit too much, you know, not really good. I don't know what's going on. So as you can see, his legs, let me just see if in the GASP plus ALS it moves like that. So let's get the rifle. Yeah, I don't know. I think the legs are a little bit weird. Or if it's just my impression, I'm not sure. It looks like the legs are... It looks like the pelvis of the character is a little bit down. So that's making the IK system to work badly. And or the pelvis is rotated to the... to a little bit right instead of straight. And that's causing that the bug of the legs like kind of being a little bit weird. Total Medicine said, "What up? What up?" Let me just see something real quick. Yeah, I don't know. In the ALS, it seems to be, as you can see, the leg when you get the rifle. Yeah, I think it's normal, but I think it could be better. I don't know which states to change right now, but this is just for refinement later. We don't need to really worry about this now. Some things that we can improve, we could do it right over here. So this is using the rifle stand sweep, but this is using the... Yeah, so we should have a little bit of difference when you're walking. It should be a different pose. It should be a better pose when you're running, because that's those are two different states. But when you're running, as you can see, the legs, they move. I don't know if this is normal. Let me know, guys, if this looks good to you. But I think so far for the strafing ability, when the character strafes, I think it looks good already. Let me just see what kind of changes we have in here. Let me do the walk strafe to test things, to see if they work well. So that if you have any bugs, we can fix it right away, instead of just going back to it later and not remembering what you have done to accomplish this. Yeah, I think this looks good already. Let me just see the running one. I think his head is moving unnecessarily to the left and right. I think that's not necessary, so I'm just going to go ahead and ignore the head. So as you can see, the head layer is 1. I'm just going to change that to 0 to see if that fixes it. Yeah, we also have the other layers, I think. The hand, head, okay, head additive. We also have that. So just going to set it to 0. And yeah, let's see. Let me just see how it is in the ALS. When you pick up the rifle, yeah, the head, it moves a little bit more different. Maybe it's the spine. So as you can see, like the head, it moves a little bit too much to the left and right. I think this could be either the spine or the pelvis, or maybe the spine or the pelvis. We're going to add 0.5 for the spine to see if something works, and 0.5 for the pelvis. Just see if you really have control of the curves and test it out already. Yeah, not yet. Let's try the spine rotation. I think this value should be always 1, because it pretty much controls how you should move to the left and right, as you can see right there. So it doesn't, it cannot interfere. It always has to be a 1 for that. For the aiming, for all the aiming animations, it has to be 1. Okay, so let's change all the curves in here to be 0. So let's see what changes it makes. A pelvis, spine, all of them set to be 0 to see what happens. Yeah, it fixes a little bit. But now the character is just too much stiff. Yeah, I think the layering spine additive is making the head to move a little bit too much to the left and right, like swinging. I believe this is the curve value that is causing it. So as you can see, yeah, as you can see when the character moves to the left and right, sorry, when the character runs and he aims, his head moves a little bit weird. So I think the final setting here, I think the final value could be between 4 and 6, dot 4 and 6, or maybe dot 2. Of course, we want the character to have a little bit of head movement, but not so much. Yeah, as you can see, it's pretty much good. I like this result. Of course, the hands are not really quite there yet, but this is what we got for today. Now we're just going to search for the functionality of the character. I'll just plug this back in, and yeah, it's not quite there. I don't know why this montage is not working well. Let me get back the latest montage to see. Yeah, just test it out again. I don't know why it was working before and why it's not working now. I have no idea. I did pretty much the same steps, but for some reason we got this to just break. For some reason, I don't really know why things happens. Things just happens. The Total Vixie said, "Thanks for this. I really learned so much." As you can see, this slot is not overriding the motion matching layer at all, and it had to do this. I'm just trying to plug it back again, but I'm going to select the default groups to be equip slot, and I'm going to change the animation in there. Instead of foot L, I'm just going to select the slot and assign a different slot name for this is going to be equip slot, and let's see if that slot is going to be overriding. So the issue we have right now is that when you play a montage, the correct way of using the correct I would say manner and behavior of using those slots is that if you play a montage using the assigned slot, the previous logic has to be overridden or overridden. And that's the case that's not happening right now. As you can see right here, it plays that animation, but it doesn't override the previous one. No idea why yet. Let me just select this and just plug that into really after in here. I think that's we're going to have much better results other than, we're going to have at least one result other than zero result. Yeah, it's not playing anything at all. Why? Okay, let's do this differently. Let's just execute a custom event, and it's going to just execute this event in here. So let's get the sandbox character, and let's get the custom event to be executed here. I'm just going to call this foot correction event, and then compile. Go back, and now it's updated in here. So I can press play, and then pick up the next weapon, and then aim, and then let go of the aim. You have to move a little bit. Yeah, now I don't know where. I don't know why the character's legs is not spread out like it was before, but yeah, it makes the total difference. Just thanks for this. I really learned so much. The only said, will you make the IK for two-handed weapons like this rifle? I don't know. I don't really know how to make IK systems yet, but as soon as I learn it, we're going to jump into that, and we're going to learn it. We're going to learn how to do that on the stream. Duros Info said, I have GASP ALS set up. I changed the controller to a top-down. I want to add shooting mechanics and a weapon system, and the end goal is a simple wave shooter. Simple wave shooter. Any advice? What is a wave shooter? I've never heard about this wave shooter. Simple wave shooter. What is this? What is the final result like? Wave shooter when you shoot a lot of enemies. So the wave you mean is like the wave of enemies, right? Yeah, that looks very cool. Do you have any advice? Advice for search vampire survivor. What kind of advice do you want? What type of advice do you want? Vampire survivors. I like this. I see. Yeah, I've never made such game with such features, so I don't really know how to give you any advice because I've never made such game, such style. So if you have like very specific advices or questions or doubts, you can ask. But I believe this type of gameplay should be much simpler because it doesn't use complex 3D mechanics. I would say, I think it's it's as much as fun as the 3D game, as the third-person shooter. But when you're in the top-down perspective, I think it's pretty much the same fun as in the third-person shooter. But the top-down perspective, I think it's much more simpler to make other than the other one. The only ones... Is there IK for when he unholstered the pistol? Not yet. Duros Info said, Pios, your videos helped me a lot with other stuff. I'm glad it helped. Alright guys, so let me just finish this up real quick. So I'm going to just go back to the grounded slot and I'm just going to go back and place that. So it looks like the dynamic slot montage doesn't really work good. Doesn't really work at all. I think that's ready for playing additive animations on top. But even after playing additive animations like I've tried before, it doesn't really work as much as good as playing just montage directly in the character blueprint. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the animation graph and switch this and go back to the result that we have right here. Right here, and we're going to switch the slot to the grounded slot. And then in here, we're going to switch and play that animation to see what we got. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, there you go. But his legs are still spread out a little bit more. I think there could be a let's just use the 45R foot correction to see if we get any changes. When he aims up or down, the head doesn't really move at all. Yeah, for now, this is what we got. I'll just do 35. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do before I go, I'm going to just fix the head a little bit. So I'm just going to go to the overlay layer, go to the rifle, and go to the aiming rifle. Now, and I'm just going to change the head. Oh yeah, we actually don't have anything related to the head in here, so that's why we had those issues. So I'm just going to go back and add the head additive animation, the head additive value in here. For the additive is going to be 0.5. I think it was 0.5, and the head is going to be 1. So let me just see how that goes. I'm not sure what was the default original value. We're gonna have to check it out to see. Okay, that's a lot better. Now the head moves up or down the vertical axis, and to the right and left as well. It works. And we don't have as much as swing movement, that weird swing movement that we had before. As you can see, it pretty much works good now. It's definitely the result that I wanted. Okay, yeah, I think that works a lot better. Okay, I'm happy with the changes. Now I think in the next live stream, we're going to take a look at the inventory system. We're going to fix the bug that we have right here, which if you try to pick up the weapon, the character just freezes and nothing happens, really. But if you pick the weapon, you can holster the weapon, do anything. And you can also pick up the rifle. We don't have the shooting ability yet, but perhaps we're going to add that in the next live stream. So that we can shoot and have different, recoil effects, shooting abilities. And we're also going to be able to drop the rifle, drop the pistol, anything that you have in hands. As you can see when I pressed on drop, if you have the rifle, in that case, I had the rifle holding. I was holding the rifle, so if I press G, the real weapon that was supposed to drop is the rifle, not the pistol that is holstered. So that's also a bug that we should fix in the next live stream. And other than that, that's pretty much it. Let me just see which event is causing this print string. So I'm just gonna delete this because this doesn't really have anything. Enable IK transition, we don't use that, so I'm just going to delete it and compile, save. All right. All right, so I think that's going to be it. I'm gonna have to go now, and I see you in the next live stream. Is this series of live stream the continuation of the U5 weapon system tutorial? Not actually, yes. Just trying to. In the other live stream, in the other tutorial, we had a in the weapon system tutorial, we had the implementation of the weapon system inside the GASP. And it gave a lot of views, so I thought of making a updated and upgraded version of it, right? So pretty much what I've done here is just get the layering of, having the ability to shoot, this is just this is literally a basic version of, compared to what we're doing. Because we use pretty simple layers, which doesn't allow us to expand as much as the GASP plus ALS does. So, like hot zombies, yeah. And it's kind of like a continuation, but we're going to make it better so that it's much more expandable. You can add as many weapons as you want. As you can see right here in the ALS, in the original version, we have the overlay layer. And this overlay layer, depending on how much weapons you want to have in your game, you can add the upper body overlays in here, so that you can choose. You can easily add them in here, and you can choose which one you want. Yes, I'm just going to go ahead and type what we're going to be doing in the next live, so I cannot forget. Because otherwise I'm just going to be fixing random bugs that appears whenever I try to use something. So fix the ability to drop and pick up multiple weapons, and creating a master class for weapons would be better. So we're going to try to do that in the next live stream. The next thing is I think the next thing could be adding the bowl overlay layer. I think this bowl overlay layer could be a little bit more tricky to make because it has the bowl itself. It has animations. Let me show you. If you go to the ALS, if you go to the bowl, as you can see, the bowl itself has the animation. It is a skeletal mesh, so the bones, they move. So as this is a skeletal mesh and it is pretty much prepared and ready for making animations on your own, if you pick up the string, select the string in here, you're able to pretty much decide where the string is going to be. As you can see, you can move the string. You can also move the leg, rotate it, do whatever you want, and the string is going to follow. So I have those animations in here, which is bowl draw. There's animation in here. I think that's the only one. As you can see, when the character is crouched, the bowl gets in the horizontal axis. It rotates a little bit. Like in the Last of Us game, if you're aiming standing up, the bowl is on the vertical, and if you're aiming crouched, the bowl gets to be horizontal, rotates because of the animation. All right. So yeah, I guess that's going to be it.